If you have not tuned into GrowShow before, let me introduce myself. My name is David Meade. I'm an international speaker and trainer. I deliver keynotes at live and interactive events all across the world. Last year, I did 163 keynotes, and I think in January alone, I had 25 flights. These days, we're doing countless live and interactive virtual keynotes and masterclasses over the virtual space, just like this, so that people can still continue to learn and engage with the content in ways that will help move the needle on their own performance. Every single episode of GrowShow is driven to make sure that you leave with actionable tools and techniques that help you grow your business, grow your team, and grow yourself. So my job is to make sure that you leave with tools that you'll be able to apply and employ every single day. Everything is science and evidence backed. So you know if you just apply the content as I describe it, you will get the results that we talk about inside the show. Now, the show is really interactive, so please do make sure that throughout, if you have any questions, any comments, any feedback on the material that we're covering, then please do let me know. No matter what channel you're working on, I'll be able to bring all of your comments and feedback onto the screen, and I'll be able to answer any questions that you might have about the application of the material. And I want to make sure that you are encouraged to be as interactive as possible. So we're giving away some GrowShow swag. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, it's not great stuff, but it is free, so you don't get to complain. If you leave a comment of any kind during the session, then I will choose one of those comments at random later to get some free stuff sent to them. So make sure that you tag some friends and colleagues below if you'd like them to learn from the material as well. And this episode is all about mindset. Over the course of the last few years, we've started to learn so much more about the way the human brain works. And given that it is such a small organ, it only weighs about the same weight as a bag of sugar, but it does a billion actions, decisions in every single second of every day. That's a huge amount of processing power. And imagine for a second you were able to harness that to help you achieve high performance, just like a switch. If you could turn that brain into a tool that helps you achieve your goals and objectives, the impact of it would be huge. And the truth is, you can. There's a whole host of evidence that shows by simply changing the way you think, you can get significantly different results. And if you've not looked into the science of mindset before, let me give you a quick 30-second summary of the best material that will at least get you up to speed for some of the experiments that we're going to be looking at today. The original researcher who explored this area was called Carol Dweck, and she identified that every human being, no matter what their role or where they're from, has two mindsets, a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. Those who have fixed mindsets believe that they can only do what they can do, only achieve what they can achieve, and that their performance is sort of predestined. However, individuals with a growth mindset love challenges, love failure. They love it when things go wrong because they learn something from it. They run towards the tough stuff and look at every failure as an opportunity to learn. Now, it would be lazy for us to suggest that we exist every day in one of these mindsets. Actually, we oscillate back and forth from the fixed mindset to the growth mindset, depending on the challenge that might land on our desk or, frankly, inside our inbox every day. And whichever one of these you institutionalize, they become a habit. And through a principle called neuroplasticity, they build little neural pathways that were not there in the past, and those pathways really can become permanent. Now, I'd like to ask all of you who are tuned in. We've got a couple of hundred people tuned in across all of the channels, so thank you for joining us. In your organization now, who's the person with the growth mindset? Who is the ever positive one? The one that even if everything is going against you, if you lose every contract, if you don't close a single sale, they always find a way to see the bright side on it. I'd like you to tag them in the comments for me, please. Show them some love so they know that you see them as the positive person in the organization, because this growth mindset really does go to the DNA of our organization. It's what helps us run towards the good opportunities and ambitions that we have, even if something is not going our way. So go ahead and tag those people inside the comments now, and if lucky, they may win some of our GrowShow swag. Now, I will hesitate for a moment because when I talk about growth mindset. Some people say, this is a little bit hug a tree, this is a little bit new age for me. I promise you, it is not new age. For me, new age is only one letter away from sewage. I want to show you the real science about how you flick your mindset to achieve great things. And it starts with a really simple experiment that happened in a clinical setting. The original researcher that carried this out wanted to find a group of patients who were having particularly invasive surgery. It was cardiothoracic surgery, and if you know anything about it, it is really aggressive. They have to open everything up to get access to your heart and lungs. The pain and the recovery after these procedures is extraordinary. So what the researcher wanted to do was to see if they could flip the mindset of the patient to see if that affected the level of pain that they experienced or even affect the speed of recovery. So the researcher divided the patients into two simple groups. One group received their morphine from a doctor in a beautiful white coat with a stethoscope, all of the traditional clinical garb that you would expect to see inside a hospital setting. So they saw the morphine get put inside their arm. Delicious morphine. The other group, however, didn't see that. For the other group, their morphine was administered through their IV. I mean, you might say it was secretly. They didn't see it getting administered. They didn't see it getting prescribed. So they were sort of unaware, at least, of the process of it going into their clinical pathway. Now, the question is, what difference does this make? You might say it's the same amount of drugs in exactly the same dosage, so it shouldn't make any difference, but the impact was huge. For those patients who could see the doctor administer exactly the same amount, their pain relief was significantly more powerful, more potent. They were much more comfortable and they recovered quicker. Why is that the case? Well, this goes to the heart of what our mindset is all about, frankly, because we know that our mindset is about setting an intention for our results, for our performance, for our effort, and for our ambition. Having the doctor there as part of the clinical setting, it's almost like the patient decided, well, doctors know what they're doing. Doctors take away pain, so I'm sure they'll take away my pain. Their predisposition was that I'm going to feel better after this. This is going to do a good job. Now, both groups of patients were getting exactly the same clinical intervention, the same drugs delivered at the same frequency. The only thing that shifted was their perception, their mindset. And the same outcomes occurred in many different cases, not just with cardiothoracic surgery, but also with Parkinson's, with treating anxiety, and with hypertension. That is the power of the mindset. A second experiment from my own TV show, you might have seen it on the BBC. It was watched by nearly 12 people every single week. I don't think this one is on YouTube, so you can't see it, but let me tell you about the experiment that we carried out. One of my shows was called Crowd Control. I wanted to test and see how the psychology of influence, behavior, and even mindset might impact a person's ability to behave in a certain way. So here's what we did. Can you control the mindset of a professional athlete? We got a group of semi-professional basketball players and told them about a lesser-known piece of research. Did you know that there is sort of a golden ratio between the wrist and the elbow? And if you have that perfect ratio, you're significantly more likely to be really good at basketball. It just means that you'll have more agility, more utility, more flexibility. So we told this to all of these semi-professional athletes. I observed them and I split them into two groups. I got one group who had the natural predisposition, who were a really good fit because they had that golden ratio. And the other group, I just left them off to the side. They were a literal A team and a B team. Now, what they didn't realize, and some of you might realize, is this was entirely fictional, totally poppycock. There's no such thing as the perfect ratio between the wrist and the elbow. But I told them it with such authority and with such conviction that it came out in their performance. They were broken down into the all-star, 5-star, all singing, all dancing A team, and then the B team. And I literally told the B team, look, thank you for showing up. We'll use you for something, but if you could wait off to the side. They were dejected, as you might realize. And to really galvanize the power of this mindset shift, we got the A team and gave them a little band to go around their wrist. Now, this band had a small little crystal compound in a little dot beside the wrist. I told them if they wear it beside their wrist, it is proven scientifically to increase the blood flow, and that will give them even more flexibility and agility. This again was of course a lie. And if you, as you're watching the show right now, have ever taken part in a psychological study, I want to assure you, you were definitely being lied to at the time. Because this little band didn't have a crystal compound in it. It was one of those little hay fever bands that you buy for kids in the airport. This was not going to make any impact on their ability to play basketball. And frankly, I don't think those bands make any difference to their ability to control their hay fever either. But anyway, we told them about the golden ratio. We told them that one group was in the A team, the other wasn't. And we told them that this special bandage is really going to help you. And you might say that this wouldn't have made an impact, but it was huge. The group who believed they were in the A team, who believed that this little bandage around their wrist was going to make a big difference, dramatically outperformed. They scored 20 in the allocated time versus 9 for the B team. That shows you the incredible power of belief, the incredible power of mindset. And every morning you set what your intention is for the day. And if you wake up in a bad mood or roll out of the wrong side of the bed, or maybe your neighbors have been too noisy, maybe they put up something horrible in their garden and really upset you for one reason or another, that really can ruin your day. And it's not actually anyone's fault. These things really do externally affect the way that we think, act, and behave. So we need to be incredibly careful about how we control intentionally our mindset. Now, before we continue with the third piece of research that I want to show you, first of all, I need to begin with a simple appeal. Here at GrowShow, we have been working really hard to bring you actionable tools and techniques that help you apply and employ tools that will grow your business every single day. But we need your help as well to grow GrowShow. So if you have a colleague or a friend who would like to learn some of these tools or techniques, please do me a favor, tag them in the comments or share it to their feed. Many of my clients are actually sending the broadcast around every Wednesday so their team can tune in over a coffee break. And we would love it if you would take the time to share GrowShow with your friends and colleagues. Every single episode has brand new tools and techniques, all are science-backed, and I promise you every single one of them you'll be able to apply and employ every day to get significantly better results. And if for any reason you miss an episode, then to get a recording, just go to GrowShow, GrowShow.com. The details are on your screen now, and we will send you not only the recording for this episode, but every single episode that you missed as well. Make sure that you go and do that right now, because I promise you it'll be the best 2 minutes that you spend on the internet. But I told you I wanted to show you a third experiment, because it's all very well saying that the power of mindset affected those semi-professional basketball players. What about ordinary people with ordinary jobs? Can it really impact them? Well, it can. One researcher wanted to find a group of individuals who were doing physically active jobs, but might not realize that the jobs that they're doing are actually really improving their health and their well-being in an unknown way to them. So here's what they decided to do. They got a group of housekeepers from all across the United States, nearly 100 housekeepers in many different cities, so they wouldn't be affected by the culture of that particular organization. And they divided them in two. One group just did their normal job every single day, weren't affected or impacted in any way, shape, or form. The other group, though, they were exposed to a really simple 15-minute training session. And in this training session, the only thing that they were told was, did you realize the job that you're doing every single day actually massively contributes towards your health and well-being? Did you realize that as a housekeeper, you're burning over 200 calories every single hour? And that's the equivalent for most North Americans of going to the gym for many hours every single week. So this was the first time they had been exposed to this. And as part of the study, many of them had been asked, how physically active are you? How do you go to the gym? Are you a particularly fit person? And overwhelmingly, many of them said, I don't do any exercise. I don't go to the gym. I don't consider myself active. But this 15-minute process, this 15-minute session simply showed them that actually you're really active already and you don't even realize it. Now, my question to you as an audience is, and let me know inside the comments, do you think this made any difference to them? Do you think it affected their health or well-being, simply giving them this 15-minute intervention? And the answer was it was huge. In only 4 weeks, the difference was massive. They lost weight, they lost body fat, and they had significantly lower blood pressure. Now, what had changed? Nothing had changed. Their job was still the same. They were working in the same hotel, doing the same rooms for the same hours, the same amount of time under the same conditions. The only thing that had shifted was their perception of what their job is. The only thing that had shifted was their mindset and how they see their own physical activity. This is how powerful it can be to simply shift your focus and shift your mindset. So my question to you is, how could you start to apply some of this content? Because I think it's important that we cover the evidence. I want you to know that there is real science behind everything that we look at in GrowShow. But what can you do first? Well, the most important thing I want you to consider is the next time you set a goal for your team, look for that one person, and there's always one. In some cases, there's 5 or 10. They're usually called Andrew. One person in the corner who says, oh, well, you can set those targets if you like, but, our team aren't really up to that, and the economy's bad at the minute, and we don't have the time or the resources or the expertise. And do you know what? This week's always a quiet week, and this month is never our best month. And remember, there's a global pandemic. You can't possibly expect us to achieve that goal, can you? But look, we know that people like that are a very real team bad apple. Our mindset is contagious, and we all need to stop every once in a while and ask ourselves right now, in this moment, is yours worth catching? Because people like that slowly start to create a ripple out effect, and it can really damage the mindset of your entire organization. So another great example of this is if you have a person like that, then when you're setting a goal or a target, make sure you involve them in that process. So if this is useful, let me know inside the comments. Let me know if this is a good fit for you or how you might apply it or employ it. This another great example comes when we look at training. Many of my clients in climates like this, in moments like this, are saying, well, with a global pandemic, we don't want to spend too much money on training, because what if we spend all this money investing in our people and then they leave? Well, my argument is, what if you don't spend that money? What if you don't invest in them and they stay? Because there are 2 benefits to training. One is, of course, the actual technical skills that they learn during the session. But the second one is the actual almost placebo effect of them taking part really does help grow their engagement and grow their results. So simply taking part in the training process can massively help them in many different ways. And one final takeaway that I'd like you to consider is that if you want to improve the mindset of your team, then simply have a conversation with them about mindset. If you share this video with them, it opens up the floodgates to talk about, where are we? Are we in fixed mindset? Are we in growth mindset? Why is that the case? Is it because of the pandemic? Is it because we're all working from home? Or is it because actually we've got into this negative self-speak that everyone else is going through a negative time, so we must be as well? So for me, it's so important that we remind ourselves that, as cheesy and as nauseating as it sounds, whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right. As human beings, we live up to and down to our expectations of ourselves. If you convince yourself that you can, will, might, must, or should, then it comes out in our performance. But convince yourselves that the odds are stacked against you, that your people aren't up to it, and that the economy will never align with your ambition, then all we do are look for the opportunities to confirm that expectation. So give me a little wave and a hello inside the comments, because I am, in about 30 seconds, about to pick one of you at random to get some cool GrowShow swag. So put a little comment in if you'd like to be selected for that. But before we choose this episode's winner, I want to remind you that we go live every single week, every Wednesday at 3 p.m. UK or 10 a.m. Eastern. And it's always with proven tools and techniques to help you grow your business, grow your team, and grow yourself. The next episode is going to be on maximum motivation, the proven science of how we boost the performance of every single person in your team, whether they are struggling with the working from home scenario, whether they're challenged to adapt to the change that that we're all going through at the moment, you have my word, there'll be something that you'll be able to use with them straight away. And if you want to make sure that you do not miss an episode, leave a comment of any kind below, and we will send you a link to where you can watch all of the recordings, or visit right now www.growshow.com. That's right, it's a hell of a domain name, isn't it? I can't believe I got it in 2020. Go to growshow.com and we will send you recordings to every episode that you've missed. And so far, we've looked at leadership, we've looked at the real science of persuasion, we've looked at mindset, and there are many more still to come. Make sure you don't miss an episode by clicking follow on my LinkedIn page, click subscribe on YouTube, and ring the little bell so that you get a notification when it comes out. Click like on Facebook, and we are also on Periscope and Twitch as well. But let's give some prizes away, shall we? I am going to pick someone at random here. Let's see. I'm going to pick someone at random. And our winner is going to be Martin McGinn. Martin, thank you so much for tuning in. Lovely little picture you have there, Martin. Beautifully done. Martin, send me a direct message, please. You're on Facebook. So if you'd like to send me a direct message on Facebook or on LinkedIn, then we will get you some Grow Show swag. But a big thank you to everyone else who has tuned in as well. Jennifer, sorry you haven't been successful this time. Martin won the prize, but Jennifer, tune in next episode and hopefully you might be successful. Una, thank you so much for joining us on the live stream. Great to have you. Gavin, thank you for joining us as part of Grow Show. Lovely to hear from you. Let's see. Let me see. Aaron is saying, really useful perspective, David. Thanks. And Jason is saying, excited to learn and always an excellent live show. Thank you so much indeed. And lovely Nikki Bell. Hello, Nikki. How are you? Long time no see. Nikki is one of the geniuses alongside Kevin and Kelly and Claire, who have helped us make all of this stuff happen. So Nikki, I'm looking forward to catching up with you again soon. So folks, I want to say a huge thank you to everyone for taking the time to join into Grow Show for this episode. Martin, send me a message and you will get your free swag. And if you are hosting a virtual or live and in-person event for your team where you would like to show them how to grow their results, then drop me a line. In just the last few weeks since lockdown, we've delivered really fun, engaging, interactive virtual events for all of these clients. Everyone is bespoke to their challenges and opportunities, and I would love to have the opportunity to work with you as well. But folks, thank you for joining us on this replay second show of today's episode of Grow Show. Thank you so much for your patience. I apologize, there were some quality issues earlier, but hopefully for those of you watching this back in the recording, you'll get to see it again. I am really looking forward to seeing you on the next episode of Grow Show.